Hey, sports fans, Coach Nick here, and welcome to the B-Ball Breakdown live post-game show immediately following Game 4 of the Thunder versus the Warriors, and another shellacking by the Thunder over the Warriors, and a lot of it's kind of strange. The thing that was interesting about what everyone was talking about up until tonight's game was how the Warriors were in trouble and the Thunder had just hammered them. But what I thought was interesting was that they had forgotten that the Warriors had done the same thing to them in Game 2 by this almost the same margin. And in fact, if you looked over the first two games, the Warriors pretty much controlled 6 of those 8 quarters, maybe a little bit more than that. So it didn't seem like it was going to be a problem, but something is amiss, and I want to give a lot of credit to OKC because their athletic ability and I don't even know if it's the crowd. There's something that's rabid about the crowd there. It just is an avalanche, and I think everyone would agree that when you play in Chesapeake or whatever the heck it's called, there's something different about it. That team is different at home. And it just becomes a crazy avalanche of plays that are maybe not even characteristic for them as much. But a couple of things that I've sort of felt like across the entire series so far is that the Thunder, I think the Kevin Durant has been much more of a defensive presence than we normally think, which is interesting because I think that Durant could probably be one of the top defenders in the league if he really wanted to, when he wasn't so focused on offense, which is his role on the team. But he easily could be one of the top lockdown defenders at his position without question. And we've seen it in little bits and pieces. And this series consistently has been very impressive for him. As far as the Russell Westbrook stuff goes, I mean, everyone keeps yelling at me like I hate him. I don't hate him. I love to see him do well. I like to see him do well more often and more consistently. In this series, he feels like he's kind of the same. He's incredible on some plays and not incredible on others. I thought Steph Curry, by the way, had quite a few really good defensive possessions on him where he forced him to very tough shots, didn't let him back him down. And again, he had some others where he got scored, but that's what everybody happens to them with Russell Westbrook. He will score on the best players in the league, the best defenders. But it's the consistency where you can see Steph can cut him off and can make life hard for him and even steal the ball from him. That tells me a lot about what Steph can do on defense. So he's not trash. He's very good. And there are times when he gets scored on like everybody else. I think the other thing is the unsung heroes here. Steven Adams, we've been pointing out that no one should go to sleep on him because that guy is as tough as nails and is just shuts up and does his work. He's getting rebounds. He's making it difficult on the lineup of death because he's so much bigger than anybody else out there. And that's the other thing I think that's interesting is that the lineup of death is not really working. And it's hard to blame Steve Kerr for something that's worked for 2 straight years by so well. And all of a sudden, in a head-scratching way, this just doesn't work. There's just no chemistry there. So I would argue that there's a lot of issues, I think, offensively, and that kind of cascades into the defense because when you don't take good shots, then it's all of a sudden it's open season on the basket on the other end. And so we've seen here the results of what happens when you don't take the good shots, but then also that when they don't make those good shots. So we're seeing this example. So you know what? Let's go to the questions right off the bat because I'm kind of curious. We have a lot of questions to go through. A lot of people are involved here tonight. So let me share the questions with everybody. And let's see, did I share the right screen is the next question here. Let's minimize this. Excuse me. Okay, yes. So we have the first question we have here is, oh my goodness, it's already moved on me. Okay. Here. So James asks, is it time for LeBron to play full-time power forward and Love moved in offseason for rim protector? You know what? All right, I'll answer this question quick because I know we're talking about OKC, but they have Tristan Thompson. He's the rim protector. Love maybe should get moved anyway, but I don't know. They have a team good enough to win a title as it is, and Love just needs to get a little bit more healthy. It looks like he got hurt in the last game. Will asks, how hurt is Curry? Now, this is a great question because Eddie, even if you're an Oklahoma City Thunder fan, you have to acknowledge that he is hurt, and he's playing hurt, and he looks slow. He looks slow, which is weird. We never normally see Steph Curry play slow. His the release is slow on his jump shot on it off of the dribble. Here's another interesting thing that we're going to go through maybe tomorrow is I'm going to chart every possession where Steph Curry brings the ball up versus when he's off the ball, because I believe that they're getting him off the ball a lot more. And that is to get Russell Westbrook on the weak side where he does not excel defensively. And we saw some instances tonight where he just fell asleep on the weak side. It was scary. However, we also saw they had a really nice close-up that I vined. When you get Steph Curry off the ball, it allows much more physical play on him by the defense. And they are really beating him up. And I think that with his knee not being 100%, it's really wearing him down. As you know, if you're playing in pain, it takes away your energy, it takes away your strength, and you get worn down a lot faster. You actually get tired faster, and so that's what we're seeing here. And Coach Kerr doesn't want to take him out because when he does, they really suffer. So they're in a really terrible bind here, and it's unfortunate that he had to slip, and what's his face had to be so clumsy, just fall and leave a trail, and then Steph Curry bashes his knee because. I think that, these games are fine. I mean, I'm sure OKC is really ecstatic and happy to have them, but I just think that overall it's not as aesthetically pleasing. It'd be nice to have a full-strength series here, and it just isn't that way now. Barbosa not playing at all is interesting that they went completely away from their normal rotations, and I don't believe it's because he's hurt. I guess he just wasn't really playing that well, but you got to bring the date. You got to dance with the date you brought, or dance with the date you invited, whatever that expression is. Let's go back to our questions here because there's a lot of good ones here. Okay, let's see. Chris asks, do you think Barnes is worth a max contract? Well, it's really a question of is he worth it in the environment of the market? No, he's not worth a max contract when you see who's getting them, unfortunately. And I just don't understand why he didn't progress as much as I thought he would after his rookie year. But it's not, that doesn't answer the question as far as will he get the max contract. But he's certainly, the way he's been playing and the way he's been producing, he's not worth it now. Sirocco, our old friend Sirocco asks, is Billy Donovan a better coach than we thought, or is he developing into a better coach as this series goes on? All right, I'm going to turn. Listen, people, Billy Donovan is a terrific coach. He coached at Florida and won championships, and we had an excellent program with terrific offense and good defensive fundamentals. I spotlighted it last summer before he began coaching the Thunder. So let's get off of this whole notion that he's not a good coach. Okay, he's got all the knowledge, he's got all the experience he needs, and it just took a while for him to, get his influence on the other players. Now, Dion frickin' Waiters is the real key here, and he has been able to have a profound impact on the way he's been playing. And apparently, it's the assistant coach that really has developed a rapport with him and has gotten him to see the game the way they need him to see the game, not the way he wants to or what he wants to do on the court. He is playing within himself. He's looking to pass when he drives instead of throwing up tough, bad shots. He's actually making a lot of the tougher shots that he would normally when he isolates on top, less isos, but he's making more of those. And he's just a different frame of mind. That is coaching. He is lucky to be in the situation he is, where he's going to play at a high level to get terrific experience with a good team. And I don't think anyone game planned for this in the playoffs for him. He's really just doing terrific. So, it might have taken Donovan a little while to slowly influence the team, but man, we're seeing it in everything. They're still running that pin down with Adams and KD on the right side way too much. But other than that, some just really good, clever sets. They're running a lot more of the KD Russ pick and rolls, which are putting the Thunder in really bad positions. And we've seen him adjust to the Robertson thing. They were ignoring Robertson in the game 2 when they blew him out. And he got Robertson screening the ball more, and there's no one guarding him very closely, then there's no one to hedge or help out and screen. And then they're cutting him to the basket, and he certainly can finish there when he's wide open, and that's what's going on. I mean, it totally took the Thunder, the Warriors, out of what they would normally do. And I think that's the burden I think that Coach Kerr really has right now is, what are they going to do about Robertson? They went back to a more traditional way of guarding with a 2-guard, and that looked, I think, a little bit better. I got to study the tape to see that, but that was really the key, I think, is that they just don't know how to guard him. They get confused when there's some ball movement now, and what Donovan is doing. So it's a real problem that they better solve And you know, the odds are extremely against them winning 3 in a row, the Warriors, and taking the series. Let's see. Jerome Ramos asks, is the recipe to beat OKC a respectable big man roaming on perimeter and a strong finish guard at the rim? Yeah, I mean, I think one of the recipes is you got to have someone who can make it really difficult on Kevin Durant, and I would think that would be Iguodala and Harrison Barnes and Klay Thompson, but they really had a hard time the last couple of games. He's just too long, and it's a real problem. Now that said, let me make one other point clear, because here's the other thing: where the Warriors are really getting killed are loose balls and offensive rebounds. And when you give the Thunder second chance points like they did, and you know, we're going to check the stats in a little bit, there's no question that the Thunder they must have had 10, 12 offensive rebounds. Now you throw on 20 plus turnovers. Now of the 20 turnovers, I think there were 10 of them were really great defensive things by the Thunder, really great hands, active, getting the deflections. But 10 of them were literally, I'm going to throw the ball to you. And they were all, I think, live ball turnovers. That's the other thing. The live ball ones really kill you, and they kill you even more against the Thunder who are athletic and can get down the court in a hurry. And so, you know, we've seen the issues with turnovers in the last 2 years, and they've been able to tamp them down and play better. But it's kind of strange. It kind of rears its ugly head in these weird ways where you thought maybe they were over them and they're not. And it's, you know, too late in the season to like get back into the practice court and work on your ball handling stuff. It is what it is. And, you know, the Warriors are going to have to hope that they stop that or limit them. You know, if they turn the ball over more than 12 times in a game, it's it. So, great question so far. Let's keep going, guys. A lot of people in here. Remember, use the hashtag BBallShow if you want to get featured on the show tonight. Let's see here. So the Warriors' chances to win the series will come down to bench outplaying OKC bench. Yeah, I mean, they're not getting much bench production at all by the Warriors, and they can't seem to figure out the right five. And so whether you call it the bench or whether you call it just the right five-man rotations for Kerr, the lineup of death is not working, and that's a problem. And he's going to – I don't even know. I have to really study it to figure out what's going to work better. Some more questions from Sirocco. If Golden State goes down 3-1, is it over for them? I think it's over for them. Sirocco also asks, is this the OKC we've been waiting for? I guess so, yeah. I mean, this is the OKC that I've been saying throughout the year, on paper, had a title contending team. They had all these little elements, and it's just a matter of whether they could get on the same page with a really good coach, which they had, and this is what we're seeing. So they are a very good team. Eric Shake asks, I think OKC adjusted well how Robertson works on offense. Do you think that Golden State should go back to treating him like normal weak shooter? I believe yes. So that's a great point. Like we mentioned, I think Robertson is hurting them now, and they're leaving him way too open. He's hitting some threes. They tried Hacker Robertson. I believe he hit decently from the free throw line. So they're just going to have to go back and play him like a normal player. And hey, heck, play him and pressure him and try and make him make mistakes, because right now they're making it way too easy on him. Moses asks, how hurt is Curry and Draymond? They're wincing. How can a team that blew so many fourth-quarter leads be this good? Can somebody with hashtag BBallShow tell me what's wrong with Draymond? Because I don't remember reading about him being injured or seeing anything. But let me know if he's injured using the hashtag. But I think we can all say that it's Curry is definitely in pain. He's not moving well. It's really tough to watch. And unfortunately, we're not gonna. It doesn't look like we're gonna get a good series because of it. Let's catch up to where we were. Okay. Now, Ido Hamovich asks, should Golden State stop ignoring Robertson? Yeah, we just talked about that. And should Steph be handling more? Okay, so to get back to my point about Steph being off ball, if he has the ball, there's more protection there. The referees will call fouls if they try and be rough with him. So I think this is a lot like what they tried to do in the finals last year. They got Steph off the ball too much, and Delly beat him up and was really playing him for the first game and a half. So they need to get Steph back on an island up on top and then with pick and roll. But if his knee is really that bad, they might not be able to rely on that. And then should someone else guard Westbrook? I saw some good defense by Curry. I could point it out in the breakdown maybe tomorrow. But yeah, Clay is on him and he's doing okay. I mean, I got to look at the numbers for Westbrook, but I know he did well. But it doesn't seem like that's the biggest issue. It seems like they can overcome that. Eric asks, would a big lineup with Bogut, Spates, or Spates Ezeli plus Green be worth a try to match Adams Cantor? You know what? He better try the kitchen sink, and that's interesting to me. If they have Adams Cantor out there, and especially if they sit Russ and they have Waiters playing the point guard, then yeah, you could try. I mean, Bogut Spates works okay. Spates Ezeli is kind of, I don't know. I don't know. It's interesting. Something is in there, Eric. I like how you think. Gerald of Revia asks, if Toronto comes out of the Eastern Conference, what defensive sets do you think they'll throw at OKC? Well, that's a good question. I mean, they're probably going to shadow, let's see, I mean, who's going to have to play? Oh, my God, I got to put my Toronto hat on for a second. Guarding Russ with Lowry is probably what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to try and hide DeRozan, but that means that, who's it, Terrence Ross starting? Jeez Louise. Is going to have to do a decent job on KD for sure, but they're going to have to sort of shadow and double and rely on their, moxie. But I think Toronto's going to have to win that series first before we worry about it. Andrew asks, what do you think of OKC using Robertson as roller and pick and roll? Yeah, it looked good the other night too, where he rolled and he had a beautiful laser of a pass for the corner three from to Ibaka. So absolutely, they need to keep doing a mix of ball screening with Robertson if they're going to ignore him and cutting to the hoop like they are. They really did a great job finding him. Aussie Hoops, do the Warriors need to stay big with Bogut and Ezeli sharing the center spot? I don't think that playing both of them is optimal, but maybe you could try it against Cantor and Adams to see what happens, because I got to look at the net rating for that lineup with the Cantor and Adams right now, because I think it's okay. I'm not sure that's the real killer right now. Adult Juice. Should Golden State change how they're handling Robertson? Yes, and we already talked about that. Also, they lose Game 5. What offseason changes does Golden State make? I mean, we'll have to see what Harrison Barnes does, but he probably goes. And if they lose a series, it's like they're not going to get Kevin Durant. And so who knows? If Harrison Barnes leaves, they might have some more room to do something with a big splash. And then it's a question of who wants to go there and who's available. But I would suspect that they're going to go after somebody good to try and replace that, the Harrison Barnes. Killzilla, can Golden State still win the series? What? I just had a vision, by the way. Luke Walton's going to the Lakers, right? We're talking about DeMar DeRozan going to the Lakers and all. But like all of a sudden I'm having a vision of Harrison Barnes should go to the Lakers. Well, I guess it depends. If I don't think he's going to be available, but if what's his face from LSU, oh my goodness, is available on the second pick, they should take him. But if not, I think they would like Harrison Barnes a lot more than like DeMar DeRozan on the Lakers. And then you got Luke Walton coaching him. Maybe he'll play better. Okay, let's keep going with some good questions here. Got a lot of them. See if we can rip through them. Killzilla asks, can Golden State win the series? I don't know. The only way they turn it around is with their defense. They have to be more active. They have to get all of those loose balls they're not getting, and they have to stop letting Oklahoma City get offensive rebounds. And they're roughing Steph up, and he's injured, and they got to get Steph back on the ball up top. Let's see here. Brip asks, do Warriors, when faced with problems, rely more on the quick three? Absolutely. They're having problems with their shot selection too. And, it's not enough to just throw it up there against, like the teams they used to do it in the regular season. You got to get locked into better shots where you might have a shot at an offensive rebound and that kind of stuff. And then you're also back to get back in transition. Yeah, Mike asks, what's wrong with Draymond Green? I don't know. Someone tell me if he's injured, because here's the other question. It's possible that Draymond Green maybe got worried that he was emoting too much. They were asking him about it. He thought that, he needs that as his fuel. And then maybe he decided, I'm going to try and keep myself calm and really under control, but it ain't working. He's not playing with that ferocity that we saw when he was, talking to Steven Adams and Cantor in their ear. That's, what he uses. I'm not even a big fan of using that as fuel, but that's what he uses, and he's clearly not doing that now. He's second-guessing. He's sort of slow. He's making these really bad passes. Like he killed them in the first half. When he went out was when they made their run. And, you want to give credit to Kerr for sticking with his guys who got him there, but when it ain't working, it ain't working. And so at that point, you got to you got to sit Draymond. He's just not helping the team on those issues when he's throwing the ball away, getting scored on, taking bad shots. I would be I'm wondering if something happened, some big blow up, and he got yelled at, or he was yelling again like we saw earlier in the regular season national game against whoever that was. Something happened, something changed in the mental approach without question. It's too bad. Let's see here. Brip asks, it seems like when Lakers Spurs are in problems, went to Shaq Duncan high percentage shots. Yeah, well, that's what they're missing right now is that guy they can get the high percentage shots from. Ocean, when Kerr gets some shade, rotations, team keeps shooting quick shots even after he says stop. Yeah, it's they haven't had to deal with this kind of adversity in the past, and it might make them better in the long run. But yeah, right now they're not playing like a well-coached team, and it's startling actually. Alfredo asks, what do you think hurt Golden State? Green's kick to Adams or underestimating OKC because they prefer the Spurs? Oh, I don't even know if they preferred the Spurs or not, but I don't know if they underestimated them, but they certainly whatever this was with the Green kick and whatever changed in Green's approach is really hurting them. Michael Wilkins asks, isn't it unbelievable how Golden State has looked so something during the last two games, lethargic? For a team that broke they do look lethargic. It's a long season. They grinded it out, by the way, which, very well could be the mistake. However, when you talk about grinding it out to get the record, Steph Curry still didn't play 30 minutes a game, and they all played very few minutes because they blew out a lot of teams. So there might be the mental fatigue, which is just, built into it trying to repeat. Repeating is very hard. And then Alfredo says, it wasn't talking about matchups, rather how much it does respect the Spurs as a class organization. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's looking maybe a little too far into it. Josh asks, how astonishing is it to see Curry miss so many open shots? It's very astonishing. He missed like 2 free throws. I just think it's a testament to this. He's not right, and it's too bad. Romo 350, how many games will it take before the series is over? Well, listen, guess where they're going right now? They're going back to Oakland, so I would imagine they're going to get the game 5. But, game 6 up 3-2, man, anything can happen, but that doesn't look good at all for the Warriors. Yeah. By the way, who knows how good it's going to look in Oakland at this point. Yao asks, since Draymond isn't himself anymore, would Golden State Warriors actually have a better chance if he was actually suspended? No, I mean, they need him. He's a vital part of their game plan. But, unfortunately, they need him to play a lot better or else that's it. And so, however, like I did say, though, that there is this notion of, sitting him if he's not doing well, letting him collect his thoughts. But suspension is still too extreme there on that one. Let's see here. The next question we have is Mike asks, is it just me or the Thunder getting away with a lot of off-the-ball fouls? Curry's getting manhandled. I agree. I think he is. I think that they're at home. They're going to get a lot of benefits of the calls. I mind some pretty bad ones, but that's what happens when you're on the road. You got to be able to overcome that, and they're just not able to do that, unfortunately. So I suspect those calls will change when they go back to Oakland, and that'll probably make a difference in the game. Zane, our old buddy Zane, who's been with the conversation for a long time. Why aren't the Warriors disciplined on offense versus OKC? Once you get down by a little bit and the crowd is rabid, it gets loose real fast, and it takes a lot of discipline to not do that. And it's weird. You would think that of all the teams that have the discipline and know how to do it, they would. But this is probably the first real adversity they face in the 2 years. Sebastian asks, why the hell are KD and Russ having so many free throws? There wasn't any contact on some plays. That's what happens. With KD, I thought a lot of them were pretty good calls, and he's just aggressive. And then Russ just throttles himself in there, hoping for the best. Sometimes he misses the layup, and other times he gets free throws, and other times he makes it. It's kind of a hit or miss with him, and that's what happens, especially at home. Rigo Ordonez, is it time to bench Green? I feel like every highlight has him not boxing out, not in front of his man, reaching in. Well, it's tough because he's not guarding Robertson, and that's the objective. So he is out of it without question. He's just a step behind, and for a guy that is usually 2 steps ahead on defense, it's strange without question. I don't really know what to make of it. Josh asks, do you think the Warriors are capable of pulling off one of the greatest series comebacks of all times? They are capable, and you know what? Who knows what they might do with special treatment, and maybe Steph's knee feels a lot better by Thursday. They're capable without question. Romo, what do you think about Russ tonight? I thought he was good. I think he had a lot of good plays and a lot of bad plays. I thought he was, his normal Russ self, and that was definitely good enough tonight. Germ the God, are the Warriors simply not playing like themselves, or is the Thunder defense causing? I think it's both. I would say it's half and half. half of the Warriors are making these ridiculously bad plays that are unforced. And there's nothing I can see that has anything to do with the defense. However, then you see like the blocks by Kevin Durant, and then the hands and the steals. It's like it's overwhelming, and then the crowd is into it. It's like it's intimidating to watch it on TV, for heaven's sakes. Wisconsin Soul. What is the core of why OKC is dominating Golden State Warriors? Well, without question, it was loose balls and offensive rebounds. You cannot give second shots to these guys, just like you can't give them to the Warriors usually. And but they could not get a loose ball for the life of them, and they could not keep him off the glass. If they could ever clean up, those two things, they'll be in the game. PG, what do you think about the refereeing? It was definitely in favor of the home team, and that's to be expected. And I would imagine it would change in Oakland. Germ the God, is there a simple reason the Warriors are having trouble defending? Are they just being outplayed? Yeah, the Warriors are clearly thrown off by the whole Robertson adjustment they've made to attack, and they don't know what to do about it. And that's a problem. Aside from the outplayed part, who gets the game ball for tonight? Eli, great question. I would probably end up giving it to Adams again, and then you got to give it to. KD was really impressive to me on both ends. So I'd give him to those two guys. Although, wait, I'm thinking I missed. Oh, and then you know what? Maybe Deion Waiters was also pretty good, but I don't know if he gets a game ball. But certainly there's some good stuff. But Adams, the way he's playing, I'm just really impressed. Daniel Valdivia, Coach, what was wrong with the Warriors? Is it mental? Is it the system? I think it's all those things and everything above. Germ the guy, they look tired. They couldn't get a loose ball. It's really a problem. They just, this might be the end of their, incredibly elite run. Jason Zhang asks, possibility of OKC Raptors finals. Well, OKC certainly is in the catbird seat now, and they're probably going to get there. The Raptors, I just released a breakdown, by the way, so don't miss that after the show. Here's the thing about the Raptors. As a coach, I like to believe and cling to the belief that hard work and hustle and energy can overcome most anything. But I think we all generally accept that when you are out-talented like they seem to be against the Cavs, that in a 7-game series, it's simply not going to happen. They're not going to win. It's just too much to overcome. It's too much exertion of energy to try and get there. However, maybe it gets a little fractured in the locker room in Cleveland, and they get, they don't like each other anymore, and all that stuff. And, maybe that could happen, but, it's just hard to believe that the Toronto Raptors would be able to do it, even though they really did it nicely the last 2 games. So we'll see here. How about we go to some video clips? I got a couple of those. I might as well do them while I grab them here. Let's see. Where are our clips here? Here's I only got a couple from the first half, but let's grab this and size it up for you. I was a little bit sort of busy vining tonight, so I didn't grab as many clips certainly in the first half. But what do we have here? So we have in the beginning of the second quarter, we're going to see here a foul by Draymond, I think is what I grabbed. Let's see why. Let's let this play. Okay, so this is the lineup where you have Cantor. Is Cantor in there? Yes, yeah. So this is the lineup where they have Cantor, Adams, with Deion Waiters playing point, which I never would have thought would work ever, and it works really well in the last series, and they've been able to use it in this series with Durant out there and Foy. And so what you're going to see here is an inside ball screen with Adams, and he rolls. Oh, yeah. And they kick out. Why did I grab this play? Let's see here. I think I went a little too early. Sorry. Okay, so now we do an out-of-bounds play. Oh, yeah, this is the funny Draymond thing. I hope I got the replay of this. So you can see here Draymond's trying. Now, this is an interesting question. It went kind of viral on Twitter here. Let's look at this for a second. So we have a rip through, and then a lot of things are happening here all at the same time. We got to lower the shoulder by a weird position. First of all, it's a weird position by Cantor. He comes down with a right foot pivot, or it's a right foot turn. The right foot is a pivot foot. Then he swings the arms across. That's okay. But he's in a weird position right now with his feet. Now he lowers the shoulder. You get a deflection by Draymond. Now that shoulder knocks Draymond on the ground. That's pretty much, that's not much of a flop there. But then lift the left leg, and then the right leg comes over and trips him. And they don't call this, and this ends up a really nice layup by Clay. Really nice finger roll. And so, there's an example where if I don't know if I got the replay of this one. Let's see. Draymond clearly is in trouble. Like, I don't know if they're going to give him a flagrant 2 on that one, which if they reviewed it later, I don't think that would happen, but I'm not even sure they could do that. But obviously if he did, that would be a suspension. That would be kind of devastating, I think, for the Warriors. Okay, here's another one. So here's an example, like when they were so out of it. Like I told you, they had 20 turnovers plus, but half of those were not forced. So here we have, okay, already it's a little bit off. You can just see like the timing. Like this should be swing, pass, and instead we're still waiting for the guy to come around the screen, and they reverse it. So now they're doing some sort of on the weak side on the reverse. Like they don't even screen, they don't do anything. They're not even executing something. This would probably be some sort of flex action where Clay is supposed to screen for Cantor. It doesn't do it. And then you're going to see, Livingston was probably supposed to down screen for Clay. But he doesn't do it. He slips it. So he just throws it right to Kevin Durant's arm. I mean, Kevin Durant's arm is up. This is really good defense by him. But he throws it right at him. It's like he didn't have to move. And who was he trying to throw it to? He's trying to throw it to probably Livingston, but I can't tell if it was Livingston or – and by the way, this is not really great action either, because if Livingston gets it, Cantor is right there because Iguodala was cutting across at the same time. It's very strange. So it was just really off. And then what happened here on the finish? There's the foul. They call the foul. All right, this was a controversial foul too, but remember, this is Kevin Durant going to the basket. They give it to him. He's going to get it. Let's see. I think there's a left arm right here, Draymond on the body, which is – whatever. But I liked how he jumped backwards and out of the way and kept his hand up. So, in Oakland, probably not a foul. But, in Oklahoma City, it is. All right, let's go to the second half clips and go through those real quick because we got some more of those. Now, let's share this with everybody. Okay, starting early in the third, we have okay, this is a bad Clay shot. I just wanted to show, like, this is the problem when you have, like, shooters who kind of feel invincible, and Clay had been going off, or he was about to go off here. But here's what happens. This is a kind of an interesting sequence where, so I like the idea behind this play. They kick it out to Bogut, and then Clay's going to come around. And then, Robertson, by the way, falls asleep. Look, he's a step behind. But he makes a terrific recovery here. And on the hop, now watch how he catches this and shoots it. So he does a 1-2, a 1 hop. Okay, so he catches it, left step, and then hops. Okay, instead of hopping on the catch, gives Robertson enough time to get in there. Now Robertson's got his hand on the choo-choo train, pushing a little bit. Let's see here, down below. But that's just not. He was not set. Look how far Clay ended up drifting on that shot. And you know what? He was straight. It was almost going in, but it's just too hard, too difficult. You're down by too much. Now this leads to Russ coming down. This is not a good pass, by the way, guys. This is supposed to be, a bounce pass is not supposed to bounce closer to you than it is to the receiver. But Robertson gets it, and then that kind of disrupts his rhythm. And there's Clay with a beautiful block to jump backwards and two-handed. And then there's Draymond with his long arms to block it. And then they come right back down again. But then, look, Curry doesn't see him behind him. Like, this is weird. Curry kind of should know he's there. Someone should be yelling it out. But great hustle by Robertson to deflect it. But they keep it. And then this leads to a swing over to Harrison Barnes. And we're going to finally get a little Ibaka. So they kick it out to Harrison Barnes. Doesn't want to shoot it. So watch. He's going to go across the lane. Not a bad take, but boom, look at that. Just erases the shot, leaves Harrison Barnes out of bounds, gets the ball back. We haven't seen Ibaka do that in a long time, it feels like. And this is what makes them really dangerous if he's doing this. So if you're looking for reasons why the OKC Thunder are really making it hard to score, this is why. Now we go to 950, where we have great defense by on KD. Let's see here. So KD was making some really tough shots. You can't fault the defense too much. A little bit goes from the post to a zipper cut on top. Harrison Barnes is a good position. They run up. Bogut might be injured too. He's really running slow and kind of like he's in pain. He gets out higher than he normally does, which is good to contain. And then you're going to see Harrison Barnes, good pursuit. That's tough. Look, he's basically made Kevin Durant kind of float to his left and move, and he gets the miss. But this is what kills them. Look, goes right, long rebound, right back to him. No one's in position, easy foul line jumper. That's the epitome of what happened to the Warriors tonight. They really just let all the loose balls and they let all those, second chance points off of offensive rebounds just kill them. Okay, now we go to all right, so here's a good example. Here's great defense by Curry. If you didn't believe it, I'm going to show it to you. Russ tries to do his typical back down off the bringing the ball up, and watch Curry uses his chest. He bodies him up, and he gets him right. He tests his shot beautifully and then gets the rebound. Okay, that's perfect defense. So whether or not he scores them on other times or not, there are enough instances where we see Steph Curry doing really well that you can't say that he's trash or he doesn't know how to guard him. He can guard him. This is a great matchup. Now we have Curry coming flying down, and that, by the way, that leads to a Clay 3 and got him going on fire. It was incredible, 19 straight points, whatever that was. So this is the result. Great defense here. Russ tries to go for the offensive rebound, and guess what? He's now so far behind the play, he can't help, can't be on the guy. He should have been back, and bam, there's a Clay 3. Now, it happens again on the next possession here. And again, look, they get another offensive rebound. Just kills them. They kick it out, and then you're going to watch Steph play good defense. Again, he's on him in good position. He sees the screen coming. So there's Adams. He hustles. He gets around. He gets the inside, keeps his hand up, and forces the miss. Terrific stuff. That's how you play defense on Russ. And you come right back down, and look what we get. Robertson is on Clay. Now, Clay's going to slip this screen kind of, and, you can see Robertson was going to try and hedge here, which he didn't need to. Kevin Durant's in great position to get around. So now he's behind. Oh, they wanted to switch that. That was not a great switch. And then Kevin Durant gets lit up. That's a perfect defense. Just better offense. Crazy tough shot by Clay, and he was just on fire. It's amazing to watch when he does that. But those are still low percentage tough shots to make, and it's hard to sustain that. So here, speaking of bad turnovers, like nothing about the defense can convince me that this was anything about defense. What was that? Like, I think Clay sees. So first of all, this is the. Oh, I see what happens. So they rotate off of this. Oh, they get back slowly. So by the time Robertson gets in there, now no one's guarding Curry. So that's what Clay sees. He's like, I got Curry and I got Iggy. I got to figure out who's going to be open here. So they run at him. And I guess, yeah, it was Russ getting back from out of the play, and he runs right into it. So, I mean, I guess that's a good defensive play by Russ to get in there, but it just was weird. He just threw it right at him. It just, wasn't much that Russ had to do. And then Russ comes down and makes this crazy good layup. I mean, look at that. He jumps off 1 foot, doesn't even get in the air, really. He's just stretching out forward. I don't even know how he gets this off with that. That's such a soft touch. That's terrific. Remember, he doesn't finish that well. He's not an elite finisher at the rim. So it's always impressive when he can do that at full speed. At the end of the quarter, what was this? Oh, yeah. I just wanted to show you, people were mad at me that Russ didn't get a call. But, we see CP3 do this a lot where he'll be coming down the court and he'll kind of stop short and throw his butt out and hope to get someone to knock him over to get a foul. That's what Russell Westbrook does here. Watch, he's going to stop, and he throws his butt out, and Curry does a terrific job to get out of the way. Russ is throwing his feet up to try and get a trip, and, no call. The ball gets loose, and they get the steal. At the end of the half, not much is going to happen there. They couldn't get a shot off, but that's what Russ was trying to do, and it just didn't work. And then at the end of the fourth, or in the beginning of the fourth, this is just the epitome of, how the game went. They're D'ing up really well. They're pressuring the ball nicely. Russ throws another one of his terrible, I'm sorry, but these passes, these lobs up toward Kevin Durant are just not good. And he doesn't connect on hardly any of them. This is a steal, right? The ball's deflected. It's all loose. But look at this. Somehow Kevin Durant comes up with it. He's falling backwards. And it goes to Robertson. And I'm sure they don't mind the three, the Warriors. And look, he just nails it. I mean, that was the epitome of their night. The game was over by that point. There wasn't anything they could do. And then let's see here. Do we have another play? Okay, so we have another play. Let's see what this is. Another one is Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook pick and rolls, which we didn't get enough of in years past. This is one of the Donovan adjustments for sure. And a good screen by Kevin Durant. Gets a switch. Oh, yeah. So Robertson, Draymond on Robertson. Here's a good example. Now, what they did in the second game, which worked really well, is Draymond could come here and shadow him, and they would zone this up. Well, Barnes didn't get the memo because he's going to stick with Ibaka here and go, look, he's going to jump in right outside like as if they're playing. Well, this is good here. Barnes needs to stop there, and then if he kicks it out, he can close out. Instead, he moves out of the way, and they get the layup. It's just weird. It's a weird position because Kevin Durant's on top, and they're probably used to working on this when Kevin Durant's in the wing or coming off of pin downs where they can guard him without guarding Robertson. But when it's on the top like this, and Kevin Durant's just looking for him, they know he's cutting now. It's the adjustment. There's nothing they can do to stop it. So just a fantastic adjustment by Billy Donovan. And it's sad. There's nothing that the Warriors have been able to do. So they're going to have to really go back to the chalkboard and figure out what they want to do to defend Robertson. Probably just go back to just doing it normal, straight up, good old old-fashioned hardy man-to-man defense like we all know and love. Let's see here. Let's go to some stats because I'm kind of curious to see what we have here. Let me switch over to the stats here, make this a little bit bigger, share with everybody. Okay, so if we reload this, let's see here. It should be ready to go now. If you don't know, the stats on NBA.com has a really great tool where you go to the box score and on the scores, and you can go quarter by quarter. Let's look at the overview here because I'm kind of curious. So who did well? We have Klay Thompson had 26 points off that, a big explosion, and shot well. The big explosion in that third quarter. Steph Curry, though, 6 for 20, 2 for 10. It's just not good. If you're going to shoot 10 threes, you need to make 3-4 of those. He missed 2 free throws. Crazy. 6 turnovers by Draymond Green. Just too many, 21 total. I would say 10 of those were live ball. And do they have points off turnovers here? Fast break points. They have fast break points. There's actually Golden State had 1 more, which is kind of crazy, but we got to look at the points off turnovers. We got to find that somewhere. Okay, and then let's see here. Who had the negative 32 for Iguodala? Yeah, Iguodala is just struggling. His offense is also just, his shot is funky, man. Then we have, let me make this a little bigger so we can all see this. Then we have the Thunder. Overall, what do we have? 36 points from Russ. So he shot pretty well. And then the 4 for 8 from 3 was just a weird anomaly. Like, he doesn't shoot that well normally, but when you're up by a lot on a lot of those threes, you can let that fly. There's no pressure. It's easy to make those. He had a triple-double, 11 rebounds, 11 assists. So, this is a terrific all-around game. He definitely had some clunkers too, 6 turnovers there, but 4 steals. So this is, without question, producing and doing really well. I don't know. To me, it felt like Durant played better, but look at that, 8 for 24. He did have some moments where he did not shoot well either. Only 3 turnovers and 4 assists, 11 rebounds. So, these guys are all playing well. I mean, look at this, 17 from Robertson. It's crazy. Serge 17, that's a big one for him. Adams had 11 and 7 with a block. They're not getting too much more after that, but certainly Dion is contributing. Actually, look at that. 10 points from the bench. 11 points from the bench. That's it. That's not a lot, compared to even like what the Warriors did. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. They had 8, 12, 25. They had 26 from the bench, although some of that could have been garbage time. So, real interesting stuff here. And then who had the best plus minus? So we had 25 by Andre Robertson, and 26 by Russ. So it was a beatdown, without question. They got way too many loose balls and offensive rebounds. Now let's look at the offensive rebounds. 56 rebounds to 40. I mean, just destroyed them. And then on the offensive glass, the Warriors had 16 to 8. That's what I felt like for sure. They doubled them up on the offensive rebounds. Second chance points, 21 to 13. That's just not going to work. If they're going to get beat by that many second chance points, then they're going to have to be at least that much better on the 3-pointers. And instead, they matched them 9 and 9 makes. And then actually the Warriors, the Thunder shot better. So it's a real problem that it doesn't necessarily go away. Maybe they could, I don't know, they're going to have to figure out how to get more rebounds. That's the big thing. And maybe that is playing Ezeli and Bogut together. If we look at the quarter by quarter, let's just do it this way. OKC, 30 to 26 to start off with. And, I think Golden State was lucky. They should have felt lucky. They were only down by 4 the way they'd started. And then look at this, 42 points in the second quarter, pretty much ended it there. And then the fourth quarter was sort of academic, if that's the right word. Okay, let's move back to some questions, shall we? Although, you know what? I am curious about one thing. Does anyone ever play with this? When I go to player tracking, is it for this game? Oh, look at that. So you can see some really cool stuff here. Maybe we'll go through this one of these days. Like who ran the most on the Warriors? Let's see. Steph Curry ran the most. That makes sense, right? He runs around. I would say Klay Thompson has to be pretty close behind, but he's not. And then what's this? Who made the most passes for the Thunder? Okay, Russ. Well, clearly because he also holds the ball the most. Assists. How about free throw assists? Russ had 3. Okay. And defended at rim percentage. That's not so good. Okay, let's go back to some questions, shall we, to wrap our show up? We're doing terrific here. Who's with me? Who is still with me? A lot of people, I'll tell you that. It's the most we've ever had in the show this year. Let's see here. Let's get to a good show. A good question. David Wu says, Coach, congrats on your first live post-game show after an OKC win. Laugh out loud. Absolutely. I worked really hard for this. I trained all season long, and I'm glad to be here and glad we can contribute and talk about how the OKC Thunder have destroyed the Warriors. Don't ruin us, God said. Asks, Coach, do you feel like the Cavs should bring in Mozgov to counter the physicality and aggressiveness of the Raptors? I like Mozgov. I think he can do a lot of things. I think he deserves a little bit of time, but the way they've made the rotations the last month or two, it's like he just hasn't played. I think it'd be asking too much now to like have him come in out cold and just start to contribute right away, but I wouldn't mind seeing him out there. Tom Skelton asks, how much do you attribute these 2 Dubs losses to a lack of defensive fundamentals, icing, pick and roll? I see icing okay on the pick and roll. All right, I see the pick and roll is okay on the defensive end. Middle penetration is a little bit of an issue, but it's more to me the fundamentals like of the box out. That's what they're getting killed with. James Crown asks, what should the Warriors do to deal with Robertson? Their defense on him is atrocious. Like we said before, I think they're going to have to go and play it straight up like he's a regular player. Chen M asks, do you think Kerr got overcoached by Donovan? Warriors really don't have much on half-court offense. Yeah, it's something's going on there, and there needs more direction. So yeah, you could say that. Kerr outcoached him in game 2, and Donovan has seen his call or called his bluff or whatever you want to call it, and has adjusted a lot better than what Kerr has, and there hasn't been a readjustment. Sirocco, is Donovan outcoaching Kerr by putting Robertson in the game and throwing out the Dubs small ball lineups? Well, I don't know if he's putting Robertson in the game any more than he normally would, but it's certainly what he's been doing with him on offense to counteract the ignoring. It's been terrific. Mike asks, should Golden State completely slow down the game? May take away transition. It might. I mean, when they're at their best, they are going fast. But something's got to change. Brian Loong asks, which is more shocking, Toronto tying series 2-2 or Thunder up 3-1? Without question, Toronto tying the series. That's the most shocking thing of the playoffs. Ben, do you think that Steve Kerr should bench Draymond Green? They did much better when they benched him tonight, and he definitely should have a shorter hook to get himself centered, or if it's an injury or something's off. Yeah, there should be a short hook with Draymond Green. David Wu asks, many are surprised how the OKC Thunder have become a completely different team from the regular season. How did it happen? Deion frickin' Waiters. Steven Adams has stepped it up too. It's the role players. They're just playing a lot better, and it could very well be a connection between like the coaching and what they're running on offense a little bit better, and that just might not be the play. It might be like a coincidence it's the playoffs, and more just about the length of time that Donovan needed to just get his team closer to being on his page. Let's skip down here and get these last bunch of questions, and we'll see how we do. This is a terrific, fantastic post-game show with great questions tonight. Alex Guyana asks, is starting Iguodala a possible solution? Well, that's interesting. I guess in place of Harrison Barnes. Yeah, that would definitely be something they could try. They got to do something to get somebody on KD that could stop him. Or you know what? He didn't shoot well, so what do I know? It seems like KD is unstoppable, but it's maybe get Iguodala in there and put him on Russ. Basketball news, AUS. They were at 73-9, now behind the Western Conference Finals. Who's not playing the part to make it a great series? Well, I definitely think it's Harrison Barnes has not been playing well. Andre Iguodala really hasn't doing well. And then Steph Curry is the top of the list. He's probably injured. He's not looking good the way he moves, and that's just, he's the MVP, and if he can't compete, then they're going to really suffer. Chen asks, 3 7-footers, KD, Adams, Ibaka, and best rebounding point guard ever. I don't see any team can keep them off the glass. That's sort of what's going on there. They're big and they're small and athletic all at the same time. Michael Farley, from past years to this current year, what change to the team is most responsible for OKC's success? Ooh. I'll go with Donovan. I think what Donovan's gotten out of Waiters has been amazing. I think what he's helped as far as Adams, his blossoming. It's got to be on the coach, I'd imagine. And then anything they got out of Steph and Russ to run. I mean, Russ and KD to get them to run a little bit more of the offense is just a win-win. Jason Zhang, OKC Raptors final. You heard it here first, but KD versus LeBron 2.0. I would love to see that, and I would think that the Thunder would have a big advantage there. Noel Aido, what do you think has changed in OKC from the regular season to now that it's caused them to execute? Well, we just went over that. We talked a little bit about all those different things. Don Joseph asks, have you noticed anything specifically that has triggered Adams' incredible series postseason? He's a very workmanlike. We've seen him do this, in the past in little spurts. But it's just a development of his hands. It's probably just the natural development of a good big man. It just takes a couple of years to really come into his own, and that's what we're seeing. It's just sort of natural. It would happen regardless. P4G asks, your favorite moment of the game from a coaching standpoint? Yowzers. Gosh, from a coaching standpoint, that's a really good question that no one ever asks me. It's funny because it might be the Warriors. They had a really nice split from the low post, and they got a switch, and they cut back door for a layup. And again, we keep seeing them kill the Thunder on that all series long, but they also were throwing the ball away on that, and it's troubling. So what's a good Thunder coaching thing? You know what? I'm totally blanking, and I don't know why. I'm sorry. I'll think of it. Maybe something will grab me. Great question. Little J asks, do you think the injury of Steph Curry is starting to ruin his career and turn out like a Grant? I don't think so. I think this is, the Curry, the injury is recent, and it'll heal. I'm sure it'll heal. Steve Curry, Steph Curry is not injured. He just had a lousy night. It happens. Okay, it's interesting. Thank you, James, for sharing that. Who knows what they want to reveal or not reveal, but he's certainly not running well. He's not exploding like he used to. Jason Ing, it seems like OKC found it during the Spurs series. Do you think having to go through that prepared them better for this series? Oh, absolutely. Playing the Spurs and beating the Spurs gives you a lot of emotional fuel and emotional stability there, without question. And they also found this lineup in the Spurs series. This Cantor, Adams, Durant, and with Waiters and Foy. It's kind of a weird lineup they didn't really use. That's a really viable lineup for them that they found out through the Spurs. Love the Hater asks, is Green's recent performance proof that he's the catalyst for that team? 2 bad games from Green have resulted in chaos. Yeah, without question. He is their motor. He is their engine, and he has been very subdued and off either as a result or vice versa. They need him to get back to his old Draymond self. Yeah, exactly. Forever Purple and Gold nailed it right there. He's just not playing the way we are accustomed to, and I don't think it's what the Thunder are doing. I think there's something funky going on. Daniel Marks, how do you like Robertson, the power forward on offense and shooting guard on defense? He played power forward in college. It's funny. I just asked his college teammate Spencer Dinwiddie if he could shoot in college, and the answer was I don't think he can shoot in college. Let's see here. Robertson, the power forward on offense and shooting guard on defense. Well, yeah, it's weird. I mean, what does that mean to be the power forward on offense? Like he's not posting up. However they're using him is really good. Tim, do you think the Warriors rely too much on the three-pointer, especially early in shot clocks? Yeah, I mean, we've seen them come back though on those, and like they hit those crazy shots. But when they're not balanced well enough on the floor, where they might get a chance for an offensive rebound, they can also get back on defense. When they take bad shots that aren't in the situation, then those are the ones they got to get rid of. Brip, this game buried any chance of KD going to the Warriors. It sure probably sure did. Joseph, is Cavs versus OKC happens, who will win the matchup between KD and LeBron? Oh, wow. I would love to see KD win that matchup. I don't know, though. I mean, LeBron is playing okay. He's playing pretty well. That's a really great matchup. I hope they guard each other all the way through. I might lean toward KD. Ben, when will the Raptors finally play Jonas? I don't know. I thought he was healthy and he suited up, but I suppose they got a big lead. They didn't really, this wasn't a good situation. They sub him in. Who knows? But I would imagine he'll play next game. Brip, you have to love how Westbrook went after Thompson after his 4th foul, got him benched again. Yeah, I got to watch that again. I'm kind of forgetting when that happened. Michael Chan, do you foresee a Raptors upset in Game 5 in Cleveland? No, I don't. I just can't see them shooting that well again on the road. Remember, both Lowry and DeRozan have to shoot really well, like 50% or more to win. And I just don't see it happening again. Let's see. From now, Silicon Valley is underwater due to global warming and OKC's new center of progressive youth culture. Okay. Light years from now. Okay. Tim, what do you think of Steven Adams' hustle and tough play throughout these playoffs? I can't get over how impressed I am with how good he's been playing. Nothing phases him. Nothing bothers him. He just shuts up and plays. A coach's dream. Ben says, chances that LeBron leaves Cleveland if Cavs lose. I think 0. I can't believe he would leave again. I just can't believe it. Drew Carter, do you think that Dre's struggles are contributing to Steph's and vice versa? Yeah, maybe. That's interesting. There's something's going on that's throwing the whole team off, and it could just be one link that gets the whole chain loose. Daniel Valdivia asks, or Valdivia, I don't know how to pronounce that, but maybe if the Raptors get the magic water from the Looney Tunes, they can win the series. Yeah, that would help. We all know that's probably PEDs, right? It's probably steroids. Germ the God asks, what is wrong with the Warriors' defense? It's the fact that they can't get stops contributing to them not getting transition looks. Well, for sure, that's the big problem. And I would argue that their offense is also poor because they're taking poor shots. They're not in position to get back, and then they're getting run on the other end. So it's a bad mixture of a lot of different things. So a lot of stuff happening here. It's kind of sad, I guess. That we're not. I just want good games. That's all. You know, I'm not hating on the Thunder. Is it too much to ask to have like good competitive games that go down the wire? You know, on both series, we haven't really been getting those. So we got a little bit of that, you know, last night or for the Raptors. But, you know, let's keep it up, guys. Anyhow, we'll have some really cool stuff coming up tomorrow. A lot of things in the pipe, so we're going to try and, you know, nail them all out as quickly as possible. And let's see here. I'll get to any other questions you might have on Twitter. Thanks for joining us, everybody. This is the high water mark at about over 1,000 people in this live chat, and we'll have, I'm sure, a lot more watching later. So, don't forget, we'll do a lot more of these, and I'll get to them. This weekend's going to be a little screwed with family stuff, but I got to do it. So I might not be around for one of these games, but maybe it won't matter. Maybe there won't be a game on Saturday. Anyhow, right? Is that right, or is there going to have to be a game? No, they could win on Thursday. Anyhow, well, thanks for joining us, sports fans. And don't forget, at B-Ball Breakdown, we're not a channel, we're a conversation. You in?